Has anyone ever said something strange, confusing, or insulting to you and followed that up with, "I'm just joking"? Was it an obvious joke, or was it something that you wouldn't have guessed was a joke? If it was obvious, no problem, have a sense of humor. If it did not sound like a joke, much less a joke that the man or woman in question would ever tell based on what you know about them, chances are you have experienced something between stupidity, deception, fear, and conflict avoidance. The key point of saying it's a joke is to avoid you accusing them of an insult in return. Whether this accusation would be based on fact depends. I will explain the mechanics of this device. In society's norms, you are expected to just accept the joke reply and continue the conversation. And in many cases, it's not worth following up. It might be a waste of time and appear autistic. However, from my own experience, I know some of these types of comments do linger and may sow seeds of self-doubt. For example, if someone says, "Oh, everybody knows you are insecure about your finances. I'm just joking, bro." Unless obvious from the context that it really is an absurd humorous statement, that can eat away at someone's confidence if they have concerns that others judge them based on this. This type of comment can push the concerns to the fore and make them unbearable, leading to depression and a whole chain of negative events. So I think it is important to at least understand how these comments work, and in some cases it could be worth confronting whoever said this to clarify their intentions. Firstly, if their intention was to not insult you, why wouldn't they, upon understanding that it may insult you, say, "I do not mean to insult you"? By disguising it as a joke, the whole question is avoided of whether or not it was an insult. You are supposed to come to the conclusion that it is a joke, therefore it is not an insult. But that is false. Who said a joke could not be an insult? A joke socially does not have a strict definition. Therefore one can say a completely obvious non-ironic insult and call it a joke. They may assert it is a joke, but it is your right to use your discernment as a receiver and possibly the object of the joke. If it sounds like an insult and not a joke, you are at least obliged to have the joke explained. If there is no explanation of the joke, either you have not asked or the conclusion is there was no joke. In that case, either the device was an accident, in other words the person just slipped verbally, perhaps parroting a device that they've heard a million times said by others, or it could be intentional. In the case it is intentional, that's where it gets twisted. What the person has done is insulted you and disguised their intention, so as not to suffer the consequences. They do not want negative consequences from you directly, nor wider society in the case you prove to others they have committed immoral behavior by insulting you. It would be even worse for them if you could prove they tried to disguise it. The problem is that this is a very effective deceptive device, as there are many layers to unravel to prove their guilt. The reasons why they might want to insult you in the first place are different. They might just take secret pleasure from expressing their hate and getting away with it. They might be practicing their manipulative skills and judging the level of discernment you have, or, if they have already judged you as incapable to detect this device, it may then be a conscious effort to bring down your self-confidence, either for pure sociopathic pleasure, or because you are competing for resources in some context, and less confidence makes you perform worse in this competition. To prove totally that they have done this, you would need them to confess their negative intentions, because the plausible deniability of them saying, "I was really joking," is impenetrable. It depends on their own honesty. We cannot probe into their brains and read their thoughts and emotions for sure, no matter what we may think from perceiving their behavior. Our judgment will be somewhat uncertain from only that. That is until billionaire philanthropists give us mind-reading technology, but that is another horror story. However, there are some key context indicators to tell you with high certainty that deception is going on, and which you could convincingly use to communicate this to others, in case it is crucial that other people become aware of this. Ask the following questions about the situation. Does the statement make sense as a joke? Is it something so absurd that you know for sure all concerned, most importantly you, would agree it is absurd and laugh about it? Is it not insulting to your actual inevitable situation in life? Did you question the person about their intentions behind the statement, and they gave a convincing answer? How is the person behaving otherwise? Are they cordial and direct in your communication? Is this the only case this has happened in your conversation and it does not repeat? Are they free of a reason to deceptively insult you? Are you not competing for something? Are there no believable reports from others about their deceptive behavior? If the answer to all of these is yes, you probably wouldn't have even thought about it. If at least the first two are yes, I'd say in most cases it is still not deceptive. Jokes can occasionally be slightly sharp, as long as they can be reasonably explained. The sharpness makes jokes more enjoyable, especially among men. If, however, the answers to the first two questions are no, it starts to become a problem. If the supposed insulting joke makes no sense and has not been explained, and it is the first time something like this happens, you can write it off as one-time stupidity. If, however, it is part of otherwise abusive behavior, it repeats, the person wants something you have, or you have heard believable reports from others about their deception, and I do stress believable, because the last thing needed is for innocent people to be doxxed based on a one-time mistake they've made. In these cases, you have pretty good points to accuse the person of using a deceptive insult. Hopefully you can point these out to them, ensure it does not repeat, and continue to be amicable with them. It may be the case that you need to make others aware of it and ensure any destructive behavior is stopped by wider peer pressure. It will depend on the context, and I am sure there will be nuances that add one or more exceptions to the rules I came up with. So please use them with discernment, and let me know if it has been useful to you, or you have something to add. Thank you.